Thanks for coming out to this screening of I Was a Stranger. Especially here at the beginning of the year. I know this is a time of everybody's moving around a lot, trying to get started, and there are a lot of movies going on right now. This is a very special movie for me and for several people who are here. If you were involved in the movie, can you just stand up really quickly? Please?
Yay!
Hey man, I didn't get to see you yet. Thanks for standing up. I hadn't seen Nick, so I'm glad you stood up. Thanks, man. I haven't seen you since the film.
Yeah.
Welcome. We put a lot of heart into this movie, and several of the actors are here. Some of my closest friends, in fact. These two sweet actors, who will come back up after, but they started on this journey with me all the way in 2018 when we did a short together. That was the beginning of this process. In fact, Masa was 9 years old when we first started working on this film together. That's when we did the short. Masa, are you okay disclosing your age now? 16?
Ooh.
There you go. It's a long time. This is a film that, and Masa, you haven't seen this film all the way through, have you? So I'm very excited for you and your family to see it. And Masa's mom, Noor, is also in the film. She came all the way over to Jordan and acted in the film. She has a quick but important role in it. Anyway, glad that you all are here, and I won't say anything else until the end of the film. So without anything further, I Was a Stranger. Thank you for being here.
Thank
Thank you so much. Thank you. Just thank you. Really quickly, can I just have everybody who was involved in the film stand up again? Say that. So, thank you all, and thank you for all your hard work on the film. You can just stay up for 1 minute here, please. Just so you can just be recognized really quickly, and hopefully you'll recognize Masa, who's a little bit older than she was in the film. And Ayman, who's a little more handsome now than he was in the film. Really amazing actors from the film. And I just appreciate you guys all being here. Ryan, who was a producer on the film. Nick, who did the score on the film. Nick, who was the first AD on the film. Worked very hard in Turkey. And Ryan was a producer throughout the entire film, and it was a tough shoot, so really grateful for Ryan, all your work. And I've been a producer on a lot of films and never been recognized on some of those, so I just want to say, and Ryan has continued working on the film throughout the entire process, so even today was doing work on the film, so thanks, Ryan. Appreciate you sticking with it too. Yeah, thank you. I can do work tomorrow on the film. Thank you. Thank you guys for all your hard work, and I love you guys a lot and appreciate all you've done on the film. It's been a labor of love, I know, and just grateful for, I hope you felt some satisfaction in seeing the film like that. So, okay.
You ready?
Ready, let's
do this. Okay. Hi, I'm Christy Lemire. Hello.
Christy.
Hi, good to see you. Thank you so much, Brandt.
Yeah.
Want to have a seat? Let's go sit down.
That's it.
I'm from Film Week on LAist and the Breakfast All Day YouTube channel and podcast. Come check us out. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for talking to me. Thanks to Angel Studios for setting this up. We got to start with the ending. Whoa, I did not see that coming. The reveal that the doctor is actually a janitor at the hospital in Chicago. Did you always want that to be the ending? Was that the plan all along? Did you come to that?
That was, that was the ending in the short. I'd written the feature, and then when I did the short, I actually wrote the feature first, and then I did the short, which these guys were in, and I wanted something catchy for the short. And so that was the catchy kind of beginning and ending for the short. And I liked it so much that I decided to keep it for the feature. And so I wrote it back into the feature.
It's such a gut punch, because you know how capable she is. And this is the job that she can get in the US.
Yeah, and interestingly, the guy who did the sound on the short, he had his sister was his aunt was from Syria, and she was a doctor, and she was actually, she was working picking raspberries, because she couldn't get a job, she couldn't get a visa to actually work in the US. So it was interesting, because that's a real thing here.
Yeah. You mentioned that it was a short first. At what point did you know you wanted to turn it into a feature, or was that always the plan?
Wrote it as a feature, and then turned it into a short.
Wow.
Because I couldn't get it made as a feature. And then COVID happened, and then we were able to make it. These guys stuck with it. We were able to make it as a feature.
What was the biggest obstacle along the way to making it into a feature?
Money.
Before COVID, that's always a problem. Yes.
It's usually money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It wasn't desire. We all have a desire, but it was just money.
Yeah. And you've spent quite a bit of time in this region with the humanitarian work that you've done. But what about this particular story did you know that you had to tell?
I love the region, and I wanted to, at some point, after volunteering for a lot of years and trying to help and find ways to help, I started trying to figure out how to tell a story from this conflict that was taking place. And then I started taking the stories that I had heard and piecing them together. And I just found this way to weave them together. And then we did the short. And then actually after doing the short, several of these additional stories came into this. And then we created this, and then we did it together. But then told the story. Some of the actual parts of this actually came together after the short, like the story of the two soldiers at the beginning, where we go into Syria and the doctor scene. That actually was, I went into Syria during the war after the short, and that was something that a doctor in Syria told me. It was a story that I had been told while being in Syria during the war, after we made the short. So it was like kind of a gift that it took a long time for it to come together. I think, although I was telling a friend of mine before, like from beginning to now, from beginning to release, it's like 10 years. Yeah, it's like 10 years from writing it to now. But I think sometimes those things are worth it. You mentioned in your early remarks that this is a really, really hard shoot. What was the hardest part of it? What was the hardest part? Masa should answer that question. What was the hardest part, Masa? Boat scenes were really hard. It was in the middle of winter, but we did it all in the Aegean. And it was still, it was the middle of summer, but we did it in the Aegean. It was still very cold. And some of those first nights where we didn't understand how to stay warm, even though everyone had on wetsuits under their costume. Yeah,
I'm glad.
But they were still very cold. And I never wore a wetsuit because I was never fully immersed, but Masa was. And we didn't really have it down those first few nights. I ended up losing both of my toenails.
Oh my gosh.
On both of my feet, my big toenails. They're now finally like kind of healed just recently. They do come back. I run marathons. They do come back eventually. There you go. Yeah, they're just coming back, but years later. But I think those were our hardest days. That's a dramatic scene too, having to do that over and over again in the freezing cold water. That's impressive. One thing I love that is a through line in all these stories is that they're all parents. All 5 characters are parents, and when we see them with their kids, or we see them with the soldier with his father, like they're good at that, and they think they're doing the right thing. And then you see them out in the world, and maybe they make really bad decisions, like the Omar character in particular. What about that through line spoke to you? Are you a parent? I am. My son's 16. Okay. Well, I'm a parent too. Yeah. My daughter's here. She worked on the film. And I feel like that's a theme that I understand. And I felt like even as I would spend time with people who had gone through this, that was a theme it was something that we always had in common. And for example, the Omar character, the West African who I had met on the banks of the Aegean Sea, who I had lunch with, this West African smuggler, it was the one thing that we found that we had in common. And he had a son, I had a son. And it was something that we could talk about and that we could relate to. And I felt like with all these people who were real people that I had met, it was that thing that I could always find that we always had that in common. And the ages of these kids, they were all the ages of my kids at the time. So I was interweaving really the experiences that people I was talking to were having with people who were my kids' ages. And I was seeing kids who I was seeing my kids in. And it just made it very relatable for me and allowed me to feel, I'm sure, a much deeper level of empathy towards.
How did you decide who survives and who doesn't?
I mean, it was tough because there were moments where I thought everyone should die.
Because that's real.
A lot of it's
right?
real.
Yeah.
And people would read the script and be like, too many people here are dying. I mean, it is real. And I wanted the captain to die. And I felt like, I just felt like people should, I wanted people to understand that there are just no winners in these situations. And it's not to shock people. I just wanted people to feel it as a real life situation. That's it. It's not, I learned this phrase as I'm sure it's used as occasionally a negative about, or I see it being used occasionally as a negative about the film, but as like what's the phrase?
Tragedy porn? Trauma porn?
Trauma porn.
That's so reductive.
Yeah, and I didn't know that phrase until the film, but it's not that. I don't feel that. I didn't know what that was. But, and I still can't even retain it because it's not something that enters my vocabulary really. But like when you're standing on the banks of the Aegean Sea and you realize that a boat went out with 40 people and it comes back with 25, it's tragic. And you're like, why did only these people come back?
Yeah.
It does something. And if you're someone who feels anything, it changes you. And for me, it just made me want to tell the story in greater detail. And to do the people justice who both had lived and those who died, both of them. And I think I've told the story of even for myself, if you look at the poet, he put his family in this situation, and all of a sudden they're in this crazy situation, and he's just doing the best he can in this moment. And no one would go into that situation and say, I want to put my family in this impossible, deadly situation. He wouldn't have jumped on that boat knowing his son's going to die. And as I was talking about this the other day, like I did the same thing. Our house caught on fire in Malibu, and I stayed with my son. In a split second, I made a bad decision. And the next thing you know, our house is surrounded by fire, and my 16-year-old and I are still at the house. I always thought we had a way out. We didn't. It was stupid. We made it out in the end. We were fortunate. But I made a very bad decision. It just happens. And as a parent, you look back on it, you go, I should have been better. So I think
And then if you look at somebody like the smuggler, you go like, this is human, this is how we are as humans. No one's all good, no one's all bad. That's how we are. So I think for me, as a storyteller, I want to show people are real. That's what I want. I don't want the bullshit. And I hope that's what comes across. I watched the movie tonight differently. And I feel like I can tell better, I can do a better job telling a story than I have here.
We did a beautiful job. Everyone here
But
liked
but
it.
I think, but this was my first try.
Yeah.
And I think I'll do better next time. But I don't want it to ever feel fake.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you that question. You led me to my next thing. Is that this is not your country. This is not your language or your culture.
Yeah.
What was the most important thing to you to get right?
Well, authenticity in every way. I didn't want anything to feel fake. The language, I tried to be perfect on the everything from the helmets to the lights to the raft to every part of this. I didn't want that ever to be to the call to prayer is perfectly the region of Syria that it was done in. The dialect, the intonations, I mean, every little detail of it. None of that matters to 99% of people, but I knew if it wasn't right, it would be called out on because I'm a white American telling a story in Arabic, mostly. I didn't want that ever to come into question. I also wanted to do justice to the people I was telling the story for, and because I care, and because I love the people I'm telling the story for. So all of those details were important to me. And if they ever were scrutinized, I didn't want to call attention somewhere else from the story. It's not about me, it's about these people and their story. It's not about me. So I just didn't want to take anything away from them. And so, I don't know. I hope you feel that way.
Thank you for thinking about refugees. Thank
Yeah.
you for thinking about Syrian people. Like, you became like a guardian angel for Syrians, seriously. Brent, what you did is, like, there is no word can explain what you did. Truly, thank you. From the bottom of our heart, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's amazing.
Thank you.
2012, we moved here in Iraq. She started acting at age 5. At some point, I never thought somebody is gonna put our story. Everything you saw is real. My aunt, my mother's sister, she fled the country through those boats. So what we're seeing is completely like true. It's our story. Unfortunately, it happened so fast and our life completely changed and here we are, thank God. But I mean, so many people, they couldn't make it. They don't have the luxury to do it.
Yeah.
So thank you, Brent. And now it's the time to truly look at the refugees in a different way. Welcome them. The name is I was a stranger, and then you welcome me. That's what Jesus said. So truly, we need to share love and compassion toward refugees, Syrians, and every person, our neighbors too. Thank you.
I was going to ask if the cast or the crew contribute story ideas or make sure details were right, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the cast helped keep me honest about language and of course, like, I had a dialect coach sitting next to me. I worked pretty hard to understand. I worked on my Arabic pretty hard to make sure I understood. I speak a couple languages, so dialect didn't come that hard. and then I had someone sitting right next to me to make sure. But the cast kept it pretty well policed during the whole thing, in the nicest of ways.
You have worked with some pretty impressive directors as a producer yourself. Martin Scorsese, Peter Berg, Doug Liman. What did you learn from being on the sets and working with those people that you brought to this experience?
Different things from everyone. I mean, like one of the things that we did every day was we did a devotional every morning. That was, we had a refugee who would tell their story every morning. Interestingly, that's something that I took from Gary Marshall's set. He would do it with comedy every morning. And it was a beautiful thing that he would do, and I took that, and Robbie, you remember that. And I would do that every morning with, just with the inspirational stories. So when we work 16, 17 hours a day, we would just, we would have someone tell their story, people would be in tears, and it would be a beautiful thing. That came from Gary Marshall's set. The intensity from Gary Berg, from Peter Berg, it just a little something different from everybody. But Gary was the one that encouraged me to direct. He was the one that said I should go and direct because I was getting a little too hands-on, I think.
You've got a story to tell. Go tell it.
That's right. Hey, you want to tell your story so much, you go tell it.
Last thing, since our composer is here, may I ask you about the score?
Yeah.
Just as a haunting quality to it. Like, what kind of discussions did you guys have about the music?
Lots of conversations about it. It was hours and hours of created score. Yeah.
Heated dialogue, debate.
Lots of heated debate.
But I don't know, Brandt let me do my thing, and it was really like a dream collaboration, because a lot of times scores have temp music in it, and he took out all music, so it was just the sound effects and the dialogue, and he just let me do what I wanted, and that was our starting point. So it was pretty cool, pretty amazing to work on.
Thank you so much for making this film.
Thank you.
Thanks to all of you for being here. Have a great, great night.
Thank you.